haven't done a video in a long while. Not because things are not growing, but because I've been busy with life and things are kind of overgrowing. I don't know if you still remember what these little baby tomatoes look like, but this is just one of these plants. It's bypassing the light and trying to come up here. I don't know where it thinks it's going. Basically, I had to get rid of all the other plants in here. It's being taken up by this one tomato plant which leads from here and is all of this. And yes, you may wonder, do we have fruits on there? We do have fruits in there. More fruits just there, fruits in there, and we're still flowering. I mean, who does that? So I'm experimenting. I'm giving it water and I'm going to feed it just once a week because this is too much. It's just growing bigger and bigger and bigger. Believe it or not, this is a plant that is known as a tiny team tomatoes. So as my sisters finally pointed out, it is a possibility that tiny tim refers to the size of tomatoes you get on them, which are like plum tomatoes, little cherry tomatoes. And we actually have one just in there. Don't know if you can see that, starting to ripen in the winter using just the lights. And as usual, this is the reservoir. It does need a clean out. All these other plants have died because the tomato has taken over, but we just fill this with nutrition. I put this on here to reflect the light back up towards the leaves, the foil, and you can actually see some of the roots of the tomato in there, as you can see just there, all those roots in there. It's got massive big roots. Now if it was summer and I was putting it out, do you see all of those tiny little spotty bits on there? All those can become roots. So if I'd had a way to actually take one branch off and set it elsewhere, I would have done, but I don't have that capability. So we're stuck with one big plant, and I've got another 3 which are living elsewhere. But I told certain owners to purchase pots so that they could carry them home, but I haven't heard anything back, so I'm stuck with them. So if you want a tomato plant and you're happy to feed it, this is hydroponics, so you need to be able to feed it regularly. This plant, because of its size, probably needs a new lot of feed every other day. So it drinks the equivalent of, I think this is probably about 2 liters every other day, just about. But it's easy enough, because if you make up your solution, as I have done, this is the solution I make up and have sitting ready to use at any given time. So all I do is I use my solution. I've got my funnel to make pouring it in easy, and I've also got a little jug in there. So all I do is just make it up 5 liters, and by the end of the week the 5 liters is taken by all the plants. So that's what we're working with. So it's obvious I can grow plants in the winter using a light, and I've actually got other lights I haven't even put up because I have nowhere to put them. But it's taken over, and I'm not sure how I feel about it. But it is what it is. I've learnt. I don't think I will be growing tomatoes in the winter again. Okay. Have a good night. Sleep well. Say good night. Hello. In the living room, have another tomato plant, 2 tomato plants, promised to people who never took them. But look, I don't like that. So I need to find something to cover that so it doesn't have the opportunity to grow and spread, because it's also on here. But this is a pepper, also growing well. I'm not fertilizing anymore because I don't want it to overgrow. Because look, we've got 2 more there, and this one which is ripening. Okay, so I've got 2 tomato plants in there that guzzle feed like mad, and they're quite tall, reaching up to the top of the window. And then I've got this one as well. Funny thing is, this one is the one that's furthest from the light, and it seems to be doing the best. And look, it's actually got many tomatoes on it, and it hasn't overgrown. It's almost as if these guys here keep reaching for the light. So the ideal space for growing in the winter is that. Interesting, very interesting indeed. Thought you'd like to see how they're doing. I feed them using this, fill it, it goes in and fills up the reservoirs, and that's how they're surviving. Good morning. It is amazing what you can do if you put your heart to it. Look at my tomatoes. I don't know if any of you remember when they were tiny, tiny little things, but now they've taken over the whole of the window. And if we go in close, you can actually see we're covered in tomatoes that should hopefully start to ripen soon. See, there's some there all the way through, and they've created their own little home on my windowsill. Excuse the water. See, there's their food going in. That's a pak choy. That's also thriving now. It did not thrive so well in the winter. And then let's have a look at the canopy. Just totally and completely lovely to look at, but they've taken over the whole windowsill, and they're still flowering even now, as you can see. I don't know how long they're meant to live. I started them last year, I think in November or October. So these are self-limiting plants, which I expected that would have died by now, but they haven't. They're still growing, so I may be able to transfer them outside when the weather gets warmer, if they're still alive. Because look, they're not giving up. They're not giving up at all. Right, I've also got a pepper plant, which is doing well. As you can see, this was a baby that I'd rescued from the outside, and it's done really, really well. I've got 2 that are ripening. I had another 2 that my mum took to eat, because she keeps insisting that food is for eating when it's growing. As you can see, now that the weather is improving, I've got another one there. I've got a flower up there, and it looks like it's going to maintain this one main stem. So what my plan is I will probably wrap a stick around it so that it keeps it solid, because as you can see, we got more baby peppers on there, and its feed is going in once again through a bottle, and it is happy. So spring is here, and because spring is here, we're going to be going back into the garden, and we're going to be starting to plan out and set up what we're growing this year. So I hope you will come back and enjoy gardening with me. Good morning. Thought I would say hello to my kitchen friend, who took over the whole of the indoor garden that I set up here. As you can see, we're full of tomatoes ready or nearly ready to eat. Nah, that does not help. So we'll just turn it off. Good morning. And this is the kitchen tomato. Let me just move these lights out of the way a minute so I can get to it easily. Let's just move back a bit so you can see. It's taking out the whole of that space underneath the kitchen cupboard. It's being fed regularly and has produced a lot of tomatoes, which I have not had the chance to record because what happens is I come and then see these and I'm busy enjoying the sight of them, only to come back and find that someone has plucked them all and eaten them. So as you can see, there's plenty, but I think it's now stopped flowering, so I don't think we'll be getting any more. I think those are the last few flowers in there. Ooh. So, and there. So I think this one is on its last legs because it's been fruiting for quite a while now. And these are Tiny Tim tomatoes, which have a limited lifetime. So at least it's fed everyone except me. I haven't actually eaten any of them yet. Maybe if I find them today, I'll try some. I just enjoy watching them grow. Have a good day. Good evening and welcome to the sitting room jungle, and we finally got some ripening tomatoes. I thought I'll show you guys. There we go. They're actually quite big, a lot bigger than the ones in the kitchen under the artificial lights. All they're getting is, these guys are getting light from the outside. We still have a few flowerings going on, as you can see, but it's great to come back to this. And there are quite a few in there, enough to make a salad. Don't even know whether I'll get to eat any of them because I have a few members of the family who seem to like them. And down here, remember the green peppers? Turning completely orange now. And the one up top is growing really well, getting bigger. I need to give this plant some more feed, but it's doing really, really well. I'm very pleased. Very pleased indeed. Exciting. And soon we're going to be growing outside.